Hello again, Wired family. Wired family, something like that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Wired Live. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are staying warm. It is cold in East Tennessee tonight. I'm cold. Been cold all day. I am happy to be here with you guys tonight. I'm looking forward to another good show. I hope you guys brought the questions, and I'm going to try to bring the answers. So I hope everybody's doing well. Got a lot of good things to talk about tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see who all is on. As always, guys, when you guys get on, drop me a hello. Let me know where you're from. I always like to see how far we're reaching, and then I always like to say hello to you guys. I always like to say hello back. So let's see. Josh Sanders, what's up? Ashley, what's going on, Ashley? Rick Mullins, hello from Chile, Mississippi Delta. It's chilly everywhere tonight, I think. That's for sure. Chili. Joseph Thaxton from Macon. What's going on? David Moyer. Hello. Joe Nichols. Hello, Matt. Hello, Wired fam. From Sail Creek, Tennessee. What's going on, buddy? Mark. Hello, Matt from Pine Mills, Texas. Went to Lake Hollowbrook today and set out 8 bamboo stake beds in 24 feet of open water. That's money right there, buddy. That's the money zone. That 18 to 25 foot and open water. I mean, it seems like more and more I end up fishing open water. Seems like fish these crappie just like open water on our lakes, that's for sure. So I'm an open water fisherman through and through, always have been. I love my open water fish. I love structure in open water, but I'd say those will probably be good ones. We'll see. Time will tell, right? I hope you catch some fish off of them, Mark. Tom A from Frozen, Pennsylvania. What's going on, buddy? They're talking about down here in East Tennessee, we're talking like 0 and sub-zero temperatures coming and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. They're talking about it getting like butt crack cold. So we'll see how that shakes out. I don't know. I hadn't been on the lake, and it feels like I hadn't been on the lake in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think. Right? Hasn't it been a couple weeks since I've been on the lake? Yeah, it's been a few. Since the Cherokee tournament, right? I hadn't fished since Cherokee, so I need to get back on the lake, but I don't know that I'm going to go in sub-zero temperatures. I might wait on that one. I may not go out and do that. Mountain Dew time. Got the Mountain Dew back tonight. Always circle back around the old faithful, guys. Always. Dave D, what's going on from Lake Hartwell? Kenneth Pippins, hello. Crappie Cav, what's going on, buddy? Mike Morrison from Clarks Hill. Maybe I'll hook the boat up and drive south for the winter and go fish somewhere like Clarks Hill, somewhere further south than East Tennessee. I may do that. Heath McDaniel, good evening. Clay Johnson, hey Matt, Tazewell, Tennessee. Did you make it to the East Tennessee Fishing Show? I did not. So for those that were looking at me at the East Tennessee Fishing Show, I did not get to make it up there, unfortunately. So had some things come up and was unable to make it up there for the show. So unfortunately, I had to call and eat crow with a couple of sponsors that were there. And I do apologize again for them if they're watching tonight that I was unable to make it, but I did have some things come up and was unable to make it up there. So unfortunately, that was a blow up for me, and I wasn't able to make it. But you guys know I'm busy, and sometimes things happen and you just can't make stuff. So for those that were looking for me at the show, I apologize. I wish I would have been there. I wish I could have been there every day, but I was unable to make it. So I heard it was a good show, though. So I heard it was a really good show. I know Bonehead had a great show. Bonehead, I mean, they sold a ton of baits. So, and for everyone that went to the show and went to or stopped at the Bonehead booth and mentioned Wired, thank you. I appreciate you guys very much. I appreciate each and every subscriber, each and every viewer on all my lives, all my videos. But this one goes out particularly to the ones that stopped at the booth and said hello and dropped a wired line, because I'm telling you right now, Mr. Tommy Ezel called me a couple different days, and he's like, "Man, is there anybody up here you don't know?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Man," he said, "everybody seems to know who you are, and they know you fish with bonehead tackle." I was like, "Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I love my stump bugs." So anyway, oh, where's my banner? Let me get my banner up there. Thank you guys for everybody that went to the show and mentioned Wired. I appreciate it. As always, I really, really appreciate you guys. And don't forget that Bonehead Tackle discount code. If you guys want to purchase Bonehead Tackle off their website, you can get that Crappie 2022. So Crappie 2022 gets you 15% off of Bonehead Tackle. I know that's not on my banner down here, but Crappie 2022. Okay, guys, get you 15% off Bonehead Tackle. Discount codes real quick. Crappie Cove, 10% off CrappieCove.com with the discount code WIRED. Or you can go into Crappie Cove in Maryville, Tennessee in their retail store and get 10% off with WIRED. Fishing Specialties Poles, 10% off WIRED discount there with Fishing Specialties. And then Stowaway Mounts, 10% off with the code WIRED on Stowaway Mounts. So, guys, take advantage of those discounts. Go save yourself some money. That's what those discounts are there for. All the sponsors of this channel, when they come on, are gracious enough to give you guys a discount. So take advantage of those discounts, save yourself some money, and thank you to the sponsors for doing that for you guys, because that's all for you guys, okay? So thank you to them. Let's see. Let's go back to the comments. Where am I at? Here we go. Is that Barrel Slime? Does that say Barrel Slime? I think that does. Barrel Slime, what's up? Howdy from Illinois. That's in Illinois. I was about to say, two? What are we? Illinois, what's going on, man? Tyler Klein, what's up from Arizona? 70 degrees all winter long. Thanks for rubbing it in, buddy. We really appreciate you rubbing that in, Tyler. Why don't you send some of that up here our way? Huh? That would be nice if you'd be so gracious. Put some in a bag, package it up, send it up here, and I'll. Because it's cold up here right now. Todd Pell from Ohio, what's going on? Heidi Clark. Hi, Matt from Idaho. How is Branson and Laura? Branson and Laura are doing well. Branson had a doctor's appointment, I don't know, a week ago, something like that. About a week ago. And he's doing good. Gaining weight. And he's a fussy baby, though. I mean, that kid is fussy all the time. He gets that from his mother. That's all he does is fuss and whine and cry, I think. And he gets that from his mom, for sure. No doubt. Don't get that from me. But no, they're doing great. Thank you, Heidi, for asking, as always. Mom's doing good. Branson's doing good. So we're on the right track as long as we can stay that way. David Baker from North Mississippi. What's going on, David? Welcome, welcome. Mr. Ronnie Harris from the Carrollton, Georgia. What's up? What's up? Wade Burris from Lakeland, Tennessee. What's going on? Big O from Clarks Hill. What's going on? Danny Rock. Hello, hello. Oh, let's see. Nice review video of the different ACC rod, Matt, LaGrange, Georgia. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, if you had seen this last week's video that came out Monday, it's how to choose the right ACC for the technique that, how to choose one of these. Whoa, hang on a minute. I can't show y'all that rod. Hang on a minute. All right, how to pick the best ACC rod for your technique, okay? For the technique that you like to fish, how to pair your ACC rod with it, and what rod is going to work best for you. And yeah, I can't show y'all that rod that I almost picked up and showed y'all. I mean, I can show y'all the tip of it. Here it is. I can show you the tip of it. I just can't show you the bottom half, which I almost did again. I can't show y'all the bottom half of it. So don't ask me why, because if I see the comment down here, why can't you show? Why can't you show? We'll see. I don't know. But I can't show y'all that one just yet. Not just yet. All right. Heath McDaniel says heard before at Loudon was 45 degrees surface temp. Last time I was on Loudon, it was actually 52. So yeah, I don't doubt. I mean, and there was a warm spell, so I don't doubt that it's 45. I'd say it probably is. But I have heard that the fish on Loudon are biting. I mean, I have heard that. I have heard that the fish on Loudon, they were biting last time I was on the lake, and the wind was howling too. Golly, the wind was howling, but I caught a bunch of fish, and I was only out there for about 3 hours and caught a bunch. But yeah, Loudon and Chick. Loudon, Chick, and Douglas are probably the three best winter lakes in East Tennessee. So winter lakes, if you want to catch numbers of fish, I'd say Chick is the best. Loudon, or no, I'm sorry. Loudon and Douglas are probably tied. I'd go to Loudon before I went to Douglas because Loudon's more of my home lake. But Douglas in the winter is really, really good as well. And you can catch a lot of fish on Douglas in the winter. So I would say probably Chick, Douglas, Loudon as far as the winter lakes are concerned. And then that all changes as soon as spring gets here. I mean, it like literally flips 180 and it's different lakes that are good. So, but as far as winter lakes are concerned, I'd say in East Tennessee, those are the better lakes. And I'm not positive of what the temperatures are as far as surface temp right now. Jimmy Pratt can probably answer that if he's on here. But because I think he was on it yesterday, but yeah. Asleep. What's going on, buddy? He said, what's going on, Wired fam? Glad you're here. Asleep. What's going on, Chris? Matt, have you ever used any Freedom Bait jigs? And if so, have used the Hellcat jig? I have not. I have not personally used those jigs. He said, I spent too much and bought like 25 packs of bonehead baits. Hey, I'm telling you, that's where it's at, man. That bonehead stump bug. And I was so upset too. I was so upset because the sole purpose, well, not the sole purpose. I wanted to go to the show and meet a lot of you guys, but the sole purpose for me to go to the show was because I wanted that 175. So Bonehead come out with a 1.75 inch slim stick, and I want that jig so bad. Like I was going to order some. I was going to have some sent to me, and then I thought, no, I'll just get them at the show. They'll be up here. I'll get everything I need. I'll be able to hold the colors and see which ones I really want. And then it was like I didn't get to go, and I was so upset because I want that 175 so bad. So I'm gonna have to order them and get them send them to me. But anyway, oh well. I mean, that's part of it. I hated to have to miss, but sometimes other things come up and they're more important than what you had planned, right? So I had to take care of some stuff. And again, I hate that I missed Bonehead. I missed you guys, but hey, there's next year. So you guys were so great at the show this year that actually Bonehead had already told me they're like, we're coming back next year. That was a blast. Like the people in East Tennessee are so great. They were like, they're so polite. They're so nice. They're open. They're friendly. They're outgoing. They're talkative. I mean, that was just an absolute blast. As far as shows are concerned, they said this was one of their favorite shows ever. So they're coming back next year without a doubt. And I will definitely be in the booth working that Joker next year because, quite frankly, I want to see you guys. I want to meet you guys. And I want to play with all the baits. I want to play for a little bit. I'm like, hey, man, Tommy, this is a nice hat. Let me get one of those. But no, hey, I'm looking forward to it already for next year because it's going to be great. And again, I hate missing, but glad you got some baits, and I'm getting some of that one. Did you get any of the 175s, Heath? Did you get any of the small 175 slim sticks? Tom A, thank you, buddy, for the super chat. I appreciate it, Tom. You were the man. I know you use bonehead braid, but have you ever tried the vicious panfish braid? I have. I have tried the vicious panfish braid, and quite frankly, the difference in the vicious panfish and the bonehead is so minimal. You're never really going to see the difference in it, right? The vicious panfish, I don't know what colors they have that in. The thing that I really liked about the bonehead braid is I could get it in the orange. So because I could get it in the orange and tell the difference between my two rods, like this rod right here. That's that bad rod again. I can't use that one. So this rod right here I know this is a brush rod. I know this is a rod that I use for brush fishing because I have orange braid on it. So if I look down on the deck of the boat and I see orange, I know for a fact that it's a brush pile rod. If I look down and I see the yellow high vis, I know that's a dock shooting rod. Okay. So that's the reason I liked the bonehead braid and started using it, was because the color. Now, as far as the performance of it, it's awesome. It's great. I mean, it performs flawlessly for me, unless it's below freezing. If it's below freezing, anybody that's fished with braid below freezing knows it'll make you cuss. Okay, it will, and it makes the holiest of holy cuss because it freezes like instantly when it comes out of the water. And all right. Never mind. Moving on. Gonna come back to that, but we're gonna move on for right now. Okay, so I just had a light bulb go off. Did y'all see my light bulb? It just went bling. So no, the bonehead braid's great. The vicious panfish is probably going to do you just as well. If you prefer vicious line, give it a shot, give it a whirl. It's going to perform well for you. Vicious makes a good product too. Joe Nichols, when using a leader on your braid, what pound test do you use? Okay, so I have two different types of leader, or 2 different pounds of leader. So the first one is 6 pound and the second one's 8 pound. I probably like on certain lakes. Okay, so the Vicious 100% fluorocarbon is what I use. It's clear. So I actually use the 8 pound if I'm fishing Watts Bar or somewhere that I know there's 2+ pound fish on the regular. I'll use 8. If I'm fishing Tellico, Chick, Loudon, Douglas, I'll fish 6 pound. It all depends on kind of where I'm fishing and what I'm doing. If I'm fishing heavy cover, then I'll go with 6. That way I can break it off easier, Joe. That way I can break a jig off and not disturb a real heavy brush pile. But if I know I'm just going to fish stake beds or bamboo buckets or something of that nature, then I'll go with an 8 because I'm not going to get hung as much. I don't need to worry about breaking off as much, and I'll have a little heavier line. And clear fluorocarbon is invisible underwater, so you can get away with that little bit of heavier line. Okay, that's what I use. The Joel Nash in the house. What's up, Joe? Or Joel? Joel, right? Joel. Yeah, Joel. Get that right. So what's up, Joel? Mr. Joel Nash in the house. Glad you're with us, Joel. Joel, did you ever find anybody over your way like we talked about on the phone? I hadn't talked to you since let's see, I guess since Cherokee, right? So were you able to find anybody over your way? Jimmy Pratt. Hello, everyone. What's going on, Jimmy? I need my glasses. I'm gonna have to start wearing my glasses when I do these lives because I can't see y'all's comments. I'm like squinting, try to see. I'm getting old. Getting old sucks. All right. Barrel Slime, FYI, your discount code WIRED didn't work when I bought my Summit pole. They said it only applied to certain products. She did give me 10% off with another code. Well, Barrel Slime, that's because I don't have a discount code with Summit poles. I don't have a discount code with Summit products. It's Fishing Specialties that I have a discount code with. So Summit and Fishing Specialties are not the same company. So that's why you didn't get a wired discount, because they're not a sponsor of mine. But I'm glad you got a discount, and I hope you like your Summit pole. They make a good product, so I hope you enjoy it. But if you don't enjoy it, then go use my discount code at Fishing Specialties, which is coming up right there. 10% off with www.fishingspecialties.com. Code Wired. So Summit and Fishing Specialties are two different companies there, buddy. Chad Hillard, good evening, sir. Jimmy Pratt, here we go. 43.5 yesterday. So yes, the temperatures on Loudon are 43.5, and that is just about perfect for Loudon. 43, right around that 45, 47 mark is actually where I like it to be in the winter, to be just on fire. But 43.5 is still pretty good. And right now, so I was talking to Jimmy earlier, and he said that the fish are really biting right now. Well, I can tell you why they're biting, because we have an Arctic blast coming, and it is going to get cold, like sub-zero temperatures, wind chills, not temperatures, but wind chills. Those fish are feeding up for this front. There ain't no doubt about it. Those fish are getting fat and happy and getting ready for this front to come in. So, looking forward to it, and wish I was on the lake. Faux show. Joseph Thaxton. We talking about Joseph? Has a super grip on it, 6'6". That's the one I've been asking ACC for a year, maybe. Oh, no, that's. I'll show you that. I'll show you that. That's actually a prototype that I got from ACC. That's a Tennessee handle. Okay, that's a Tennessee handled super grip, and this is a prototype. Okay, so these aren't actually for sale yet. Again, it's just a prototype. I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest. Love the grip. Don't get me wrong. Love the grip, but I don't know. I don't know really how I feel about it yet. I've been using it for a little while. They sent me several prototypes. This is a 6'6". I don't know. I don't know. They sent these out to several pro staff, and they're trying to gather some feedback about it. And I don't know what'll happen if they decide to make them or produce them or not. But right now, that's what that is. So good eye, very good eye. But that's not what I can't show you. Nice try. Johnny Coots, good evening. Went to East Tennessee Fishing Show. Got more stump bugs. That's awesome. What colors did you get? Tell me about them. Were they shiny? Were they sparkly? Were they chartreuse? I like them. No doubt about it. Yeah, y'all listen to Chris. Chris said, smash that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up, guys, please. That all goes into the magical, mystical YouTube algorithm that nobody seems to understand or know how it works, but we just know there's one out there that they tell us there's an algorithm for that. And it's like, okay, how's that work? And everybody goes, ooh. But smash that thumbs up so that people know that you like what's going on, like the content. It's just a little identifier for people to say good or bad. So if you don't mind, smash that thumbs up if you like what we're doing at Wired for Crappie. Thank you. All right, what's up, Rusty? Do you dock shoot with braid? Yes and no. No and yes. That's kind of a weird one, isn't it? All right, so do I dock shoot with braid? So if let's say I'm fishing that day and I'm fishing a day and I'm catching them on white and chartreuse, Rusty, and I've got white and chartreuse tied on my dock shoot or my brush rod, but I don't have it tied on my dock shooting rod, and I go to a dock and I'm not really dock shooting, but I stop at one, then yes, I'll pick that braided rod up and I will shoot a dock with it. If I know I'm going to the lake to shoot docks, okay, if I'm going to a tournament and I know that's what I'm going to do, then no. I will not use braid. I will use mono. Okay. So if I know that I know that I know I'm going to shoot docks for a day, no. But if I'm just out on the lake fishing for fun, or in a tournament and I'm driving by a dock and I think there may be a good fish right there, that's the color I need, it's on a brush rod, then yes, I'll pick it up and shoot docks with it. But you'll lose a little distance with braid over mono. Not a ton, but you will lose distance. Okay. It just doesn't come off the reel as smooth. Chris, I quit fishing when it is below 32. I think I ruined Chris on that one, because Chris came up here to fish with me. Well, he came up here for several reasons, but we fished together while he was up here. And actually, we were able to get together on Loudon, and it was freezing cold. It was below 32 that day. I think it was like 26 or 27. And about halfway through the day, I brought my heater with me, my little Mr. Buddy heater. And about halfway through the day, I'm still fishing, and Chris is like, "Hey, dude, mind if I turn that Mr. Buddy heater on?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, man. I don't care. That's what I brought it for. Turn it on, man. Kick it on, whatever." And he's like, "Dude, I can't feel my hands." He's like, "I'm cold. My hands are freezing." He's like, "I got to warm my hands up, man. I'm not used to this." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Hit it." And he's like, he's like, "Ah." He's sitting over the heater. He's like, "Ah, it's nice." I've had those days. We fished a tournament on Douglas one year. It was 6 degrees when we put in. No joke, 6. And I took a propane bottle and again, it was that Mr. Buddy heater that sits on top of the propane bottle. And I literally put it behind, we spider rigged, and I put it right behind our seats. I actually melted the back of one of my seats because but I didn't care. I was cold. And I was just holding my hands like right here behind me to warm my hands up because they were so cold. It was absolutely freezing that day, but we caught the mess out of fish up on Douglas. I mean, we caught like 125 fish that day. It was so much fun. Anyway, but yeah, I don't blame you. I'm about to become a fair weather fisherman too, Chris. Lee, what weight jig head do you use on dock shooting? Very, very good question. Always start out with a 32nd on docks. Always. A 32nd, you can still get the same distance on your shot, but you don't lose distance. So if you go down to like a 64th, you really lose distance. You can't shoot that jig as far because it's so light. 32nd, you still keep that distance, and you get that slow fall, which is what I'm looking for when I'm dock shooting. I want those fish to have as much time to react as they can, or as I can get, as that jig's falling through the water column. But if I'm not getting bites on a 32nd, or if I need that extra 5 feet, let's say I find a mega school of fish at 45 feet under a dock, and I can only get to 40 with a 32nd, then I may throw a 16th on there and try to get that extra 5 feet to get to the fish. But most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I'm throwing a 32nd, and then the other 10% of the time, I'm throwing a 16th. Okay, or shooting, not throwing. I'm shooting. Very good question. Todd Pale, will crappie migrate from lower to upper parts of lakes, or do they tend to stay in close where they're hatched? All right, this one right here is the $1 million question, Todd. $1 million question. So let me give you my take on it. It's gonna be both. You're gonna have some fish that'll live their life within a mile of where they're hatched, and you're gonna have some fish that, let me relate back to people. All right. There's some people, Todd, that they will not move out of the town they were born in. It don't matter if you know the zombie apocalypse comes to their town and only their town and nowhere else in America. They're staying right there. It don't matter what happens. It don't matter if all the crops died and there's no groceries, and they're staying in that town. Okay. And then there's people that they're like, I'm out of here. As soon as I'm old enough, I'm gone. I'm going to find greener pastures. There's more out there than this. I'm going somewhere to find something. Right. I'm going to say crappie are just the same way. All right. I believe you'll have crappie that will migrate across the lake as they age and as they get older. Now, with that being said, I believe that the smaller fish will stay centralized to where they're hatched until they get large enough to where they don't feel as if they're prey as much. Okay, so I feel like those larger fish are gonna move around. They're gonna go from this creek to that creek to the north end to the south end. Now this didn't happen overnight. Okay, these fish are migrating over the course of a month or 2 months or 6 months or whatever. But I'm going to say those larger fish do move around more. Okay. And from what I've learned tournament fishing, all my tournament guys on here, listen to me good. There's always a section of lake that's going to have the larger fish in it. Okay. Um, there's always going to be, I'm going to say it again because it's so important, always going to be a section of the lake that has the larger fish in it on a given day or a given week or a given month. Okay. So, again, to answer your question, small fish stick close to where they're hatched. Some fish may live their whole life in one area. The larger fish, they're going to roam around more. And then some fish will roam. They will go from north to south, east to west. Okay. Gotcha, Joel. Lee, yes. And what line do you use on ducks? So I use for all my duck shooting, that is a vicious high vis 4 pound test. Okay. That's what I use. That's high vis vicious 4 pound test. That's what I use. I buy it for $7.99 for a 3,000 yard spool. Um, but that is my duck shooting line. Okay. Always use vicious. That's just me. I've always used vicious. Mono, I like the diameter of it. I like that it has memory. All mono has memory. You're never going to find a mono that has absolutely no memory. If you do, let me know about it because I want them to sponsor this channel. But no, it has it has memory, but it's not bad. It doesn't get. I mean, if you get all the way down to the bottom of your spool, then you've got some really tight weave, some really tight, memory down in the bottom of your spool. But for the most part, it stays pretty limp, pretty lax, and I like that. So it's performed well for me. I'm sure there's a lot of great lines out there, guys. There really is, but that's the one that performs well for me. I like a 4 pound test over a 6 pound. I don't ever use a 6 pound test to shoot docks. Reason being is because reason being I don't use a 6 pound is because it's more rigid and you won't get as far of a shot. Anything that's more rigid is not going to shoot as far. Okay, so I like a 4 pound test. I don't want a 2 pound test because if a fish gets me around a pylon or a fish gets me wrapped around a cable or something, he can snap 2 pound easy. But a 4 pound test is where I land. Kenneth Pippins, Amped Outdoor has an 80 amp hour, 24 volt trolling battery for around $1,299. Light and weight, kind of heavy in price for me. Are you just making a statement, Kenneth, or are you asking me what I think about it? You'll have to elaborate on that one. Are you just looking at batteries or what you looking at? I didn't see another comment from you. If I missed something, I may have, but you may have to elaborate on that one for me, buddy. John Nelson, hello everyone. Matt or anybody that knows, is there a time that is better to use a crappie fly versus a crappie jig? Winter. I am a huge believer in flies in the winter. Okay, huge believer. Um, I know I haven't fished on my channel a lot with them. Well, yeah, I have. I've fished quite a bit with fly. But I would say winter in the heat of summer, the heat of summer in the middle of winter, in the heat of summer in the hottest part of the summer, like August for us. That's when ours is like August. A fly just has so much more. It's got more of a subtle, open, kind of small profile. As that jig sits down there and breathes, which I use a marabou, so it sits down there and breathes. Um, it just gives the appearance of a very light, small kind of insect or something like that. It's not a big, huge, heavy shad. It's not like a big 3-inch bait or something like that. It's not big. It's not bulky. It's very slim, very light. And in the middle, I mean, in the dead of winter, when those fish's metabolism is just nothing, you can get them to bite a hair fly a lot of times. And then in the dead of summer, when those fish are just stressed from the heat and they're really not feeding a whole lot, you can get them to eat a hair fly. Okay, so that's when I like to use those. Darren, when Tennessee lakes are drawn down to winter pool, what is a good depth or depths to sink brush buckets, etc.? You're gonna have to tell me. Yeah, okay, let me get a drink. You're gonna have to elaborate on that, Darren. Which lake are you talking about? And the reason I say that, Douglas draws down 30 feet. Cherokee draws down 45. Loudon draws down 6, 7. Tellico, 7. Chick, 8. So every lake is drawing down different in the winter. So you're going to have to elaborate on which lake you're talking about. Oh, Andy. That's all right. Better late than never, my friend. Sorry you missed out on the first little bit. Lee, I switched to 12-volt, 2 batteries, wired in series parallel. I run trolling motor, 3 depth finder. I just got Garmin LiveScope. I reckon I'll see what all the hoopla is about. Well, welcome to the club. You're ruined. LiveScope, LiveScope is the bomb. Um, you know, it's still nice to go back and catch fish the old way, right? I mean, before LiveScope came out, look, guys, I've been at this now for a dozen years, right? And I caught fish before LiveScope. I won tournaments before LiveScope. All right, so LiveScope hasn't necessarily made well. LiveScope has changed the game tournament wise because now it's hard. It's not impossible. As you guys saw, the guys that won Crappie Masters did it out of a 14-foot aluminum John boat with basically souped up cane poles, no reels, cane poles, no electronics. So they won a huge tournament with no electronics. And there's lakes you can do that on, right? Um, but for open water fishing, LiveScope has changed tournament fishing for open water fishing. Okay. Um, so it is a great tool. It is a lot of fun, but it is nice to go back and catch them the old way still. Trolling, long lining, pulling crankbaits, pulling planer boards. But it has LiveScope has also helped crappie fishing because it's changed crappie fishing from a seasonal sport to a more year long, year round sport. Okay, because you can go catch fish year round, anytime you want because you can see them. Whereas previous to LiveScope and previous to side imaging and down imaging and things, guys would go troll in the spring. They'd go fish visible brush in the spring, and catch them in the springtime and maybe in the fall. They'd go longline troll or pull boards. Well, that was even before boards, but a lot of things have changed, and LiveScope is one of those that is just helping grow the popularity of crappie fishing. So I think it's a good thing, but yeah. Major Brown. Hi, Matt. When you installed your Ultrex trolling motor, did some of the mounting holes line up from the Tarova? Ultrex seems much narrower than the Tarova. It is, and no, they won't line up. It's not necessarily narrower, but the bolt pattern. So your Tarova's got that little short base on it, and it's got to hang way off the front of the boat for that unit to unfold and lock in. To whereas you've got the bracket of the Ultrex is so much longer, and you're swinging it. You got your hand, or you got your cord, and you hit your cord and you lift it up, and it's more like a cabled steer trolling motor would be. So you've got your big butterfly bracket that comes, that lays flat and then comes up and opens and closes. So the trolling motor doesn't have to, the housing for the trolling motor doesn't have to necessarily hang off the front as far. So no, to answer your question, none of the holes will line up, Major Brown, from the Tarova to the Ultrex. Joe, when will you notice the crappie moving back to open water this time of year? They're there. I mean, when that water temperature gets down below, when that water temperature gets down below about 60, they're going to start hitting open water. Okay. They're going to start schooling up in big, heavy schools, and they're going to start hitting open water. Kenneth, what you think about the Amped Outdoors battery? So what do I think? Well, let's talk about, let's address the price point first, okay? Because I know, like you said, you put $12.99 on there, and a lot of people are going, they're choking. So there's several different ways to go with batteries, okay? First way would be like I kind of do and go, Rural King, couple Rural King batteries, throw them in there and let's rock. Buy new ones every couple years, right? That's one way to go. Another way to go is go buy, a couple interstates that run you $500 because they're about $250 a piece, and then replace them every 4 years. Okay. Now let's talk about the new player in the game. All right. The new player in the game is lithium. All right. Just like the lithium battery I use for my LiveScope, which is an Amped Outdoors battery, by the way. It's 30 amp hour, but it's an Amped Outdoors battery. How long can you expect these lithiums to last? If you treat a lithium right, you can get 10 years out of that lithium. Okay. Easy. And that's me. I mean, that's a guy that's draining them, charging them, draining them, charging them, draining them, charging them, draining them, charging them. A good lithium battery that's taken care of can last you up to 10 years. There's a lot of lithium companies out there that offer a 10-year warranty. They're expecting to get over 10 years. Okay. Thousands of charges you can put on a lithium battery. What are the advantages of lithium? Well, there's no voltage drop. You got consistent voltage. If you've got charge in that battery, you've got the same voltage. There's hardly any voltage drop on them. My lead acid batteries, they're back here on maintainers right now. I got maintainers sitting right here beside me. I hear one of them humming, okay? But I got maintainers sitting right here beside me on all three of my batteries in this boat, maintaining those batteries, maintaining that full charge. Because if you charge a lead acid battery and you unplug it and it sits for a month, it will drop in voltage. Lithium batteries, you can charge them up, unplug them, they will not drop in voltage. They're more consistent. There's a lot of good things to a lithium battery. Now, it is hard to swallow the price point. All right. But you've also got to think you're going to spread that over 10 years instead of 2. So and let's talk middle of the road lead acid is an interstate. You can get, you could go up to, what are the gel batteries? The Optimus. You can go up to an Optima and pay $500-$600 for one of those, and have $1,200 in a 24-volt system. Or you can go middle of the road interstate, a couple $100 a battery. You got $400 or $500 in your setup. That's kind of middle of the road, and you get maybe 4 years out of it. You're going to get 10 out of a lithium that that is in good shape and you take care of. So, yeah, it's a little hard to swallow the price point on them, but in all honesty, they're just going to last you longer. They're going to be a better, more consistent draw. They're not going to draw as much. They're not going to have voltage drops if you forget to plug them in. All those good things. Okay, so hope that helps. Hope that answers your question. And I hope that if you consider going to a new battery, I hope you consider lithium, because I'll be honest with y'all, lithium is the way of the future in boats. I know nobody wants to hear that because they're expensive, but they'll come down as we move into more lithium. That's the name of the game for the future. Lithium batteries are coming to every boat near you. They're already starting to put some lithium batteries. The tracker lithiums are already coming standard in boats. It's coming. Everybody just better get ready for it. Because lithium is coming. Now, when that happens, those prices are probably going to drop because everybody's going to hit the lithium battery scene, and the prices you're going to see a significant decrease in price. But yeah, lithiums are where it's at anymore. And let's be honest about it. Let's talk about for a second the amount of power that is necessary in a boat now. It's ridiculous. I got an HDS 10 right here. I got an 8 right here. I got the LiveScope up there. I've got 24-volt trolling motors. Some guys are running 36-volt trolling motor. You've got, to where used to, it was just a hand-controlled 12-volt job on the front of the boat that, move you around Richard Gere style. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But the power draw that we're putting through these boats now is increasing daily. Daily, we need more power. That people are putting lights and aerators and bilge pumps and your live well pumps and all this stuff that takes power, right? So it's coming. These boats are getting more power hungry by the day. And I told somebody the other day, I said, 10 years from now, every boat will have a generator in it, or some kind of, or every boat will have solar panels in it to run it. Something's going to happen. They got to do something. Or a whole bay of lithium batteries in the back of it or something, because lithium is so much lighter. Let me go back to Kenneth again. Lithium is a quarter of the weight. Okay. You're saving a ton of weight when you go to lithium. My fishing partner's boat, he had some pretty expensive lead acid batteries that he ran his 24-volt trolling motor with. He just recently went lithium, and he saved over 200 pounds. We weighed the 2 batteries that we took out and the battery we put in. He saved over 200 pounds in the back of the boat. Boat rides like it's a completely different boat. Gets up on plane like that. Fuel mileage is better. Saves fuel. So much lighter in the rear end. Absolutely great trade-off. Okay. No doubt. Over the course of 10 years, you'll save $1,200 on fuel. Guaranteed. So, you can look at it many ways. It is an upfront investment, but you can look at it a lot of different ways, okay? Heath McDaniel, are you guys going to reset a date for the Teleco tournament, and when is the Fort Loudon tournament? All right, Fort Loudon was in September, so it's done till next year. There'll be another tournament on Loudon next year. Or it could be the Classic Lake. I don't know. We may end up fishing the Classic on Loudon because the Classic is a blind draw for East Tennessee Crappie Club. We draw that Thursday before the tournament, and it is off limits until Saturday of the tournament. So nobody's allowed to fish it, and we'll blind draw that. So it could be that is the 3rd Saturday of April. The Teleco tournament is already reset. If you go to East Tennessee Crappie Club's Facebook page, on the very top in the banner, you can see the schedule. It's reset on that schedule. I think it's March, third week of March, third Saturday of March, which would be March the 19th will be Teleco. Okay. Lee, that was a great answer. How do I donate? Donating to the channel. If you want to give a super chat, Lee, right down below where it says post a comment on your screen, there's a little dollar symbol. You can click on that dollar symbol and it will actually walk you through how to give a super chat, and you can donate to the channel that way. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad that I was able to answer your question. And if you're able to give a super chat, that's great. I appreciate it. It's a blessing to this channel. It's a blessing to me. Helps keep me on the water. Helps keep me doing this for you guys, answering questions and giving you guys good content to watch every week. And it helps tremendously. So if you're able to do that, Lee, thank you very much. And if anybody else wanted to know, that's how you give a super chat. Ashley, Matt, for answering Darren, Percy Priest draws down around 7 feet summer and winter, looks like, and Tim Ford around 15 feet. Okay. So thank you, Ashley. I think I missed Darren's comment if he mentioned Tim Ford and Percy Priest, but that's okay. So Darren, to answer your question, if you're drawing down 7 feet, I typically like to put my brush in about, okay, in summer pool, I like to put it where it's about 18 to 25 feet on lakes that only draw down 7. That'll hold fish year round. If you put it in that 20-foot range, that 20 to 22 foot, somewhere right in there, draw down 7, you're going to have 13 to 15 foot of water on it in the winter. That'll hold fish. Okay. Those lakes that draw down 15, a little different situation there. You've got to kind of have 2 different sets on a lake like that. So on a lake that draws down that much, anywhere double digits or more, you've pretty much got to have 2 sets of brush. You got to have a set of brush for spring and fall, and you got to have a set of brush for, you got to have a set of brush for summer and fall, and then a set of brush for winter and spring as that lake's coming back up. So, if you're setting brush for summer and fall, you want to set that again 18 to 25 feet. And then if you're setting it for winter and spring, you're going to want to set it at that 18 to 25 feet in the winter or spring as the lake's coming up. So does that make sense? So if you're setting brush for winter and it's summer, you're going to want to set it somewhere around 32 to 35 feet. That way, when it draws down, you've got the right depth and fish will hold on it. Okay. And I think I did my math right there. If not, Josh Sanders will tell me. He's a math magician. Big O, thank you, Big O, for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it very much. As I said before, guys, it is a blessing to me and a blessing to this channel for you guys to give those super chats. It means the world to me. I love coming on here and answering questions for y'all and just, sharing the little bit of knowledge that I have. I don't know it all, but I know a little bit. Okay. And I love sharing that with you guys. I love answering questions. And those super chats help tremendously. So thank y'all very much. Thank you, Big O, for your blessing. I appreciate it, buddy. Hope you have a good one. And thank you again. William C. Good evening, sir. Good evening. New with the LiveScope and love it. A big thank you to a good friend, Chris. I'm running mine off my already have Milwaukee batteries. Working great so far. William, real quick. What volt Milwaukee batteries are you running? What volt? Are they 18 volt, 20 volt? What are they? I'm going to wait on William to answer, but I'm going to go ahead. Would you run your LiveScope setup? There's 88 people on here. And when William answers me, you guys need to stay on here. 91 right now. When William C. answers me as to what voltage those batteries are, you guys need to stay on here. All right, so would you run your LiveScope setup on a separate battery, or if your battery was big enough to run multiple units, would it be okay without any problems? Absolutely not. I would run it on a separate battery. 100%. Absolutely 100%. I have almost gotten to the point where I won't do an install of a LiveScope if they don't buy a separate battery. And people are going to be like, well, fine, I won't bring you my stuff to install it. Forget you. If that's all you have, I'll do it. Okay. But I always tell everybody, Andy, I've told multiple people this and it has come to fruition. Ask Jimmy Pratt. Okay. If you run it off of your cranking battery or you run it off a trolling motor battery, you are going to kill the battery. Promise you, you are going to kill that battery. All right. It needs to be on its own dedicated battery. If that's the only way you can run it, let's say somebody says, hey, it's not my budget right now. Then absolutely, 100%. You got to do what you got to do. I'm a firm believer in that. Got to do what you got to do, guys. And there's no wrong with that. Okay. But if you can afford to go get you an Amped Outdoors battery or any lithium, okay, if you can afford to do it, please, please, please do it, because you will run into issues with a one battery for multiple uses. It will kill it. All right. I've told about 3 or 4 different people that, and I said, man, I really wish you would reconsider. I really wish you just think about, getting it. No, I don't want to right now. I'll do it later. If I have problems, I'll get one. And they've always called me back and said, my battery's dead. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And they're like, nope, you told me. There's not been one person yet that hadn't called me or called me and said, hey, I had to jump my boat to get back to the ramp. That's happened too. Okay. They've called and said, had to jump my boat, get me back to the ramp. You're right. It killed the battery. I fished for 8 hours today and it's dead on a door now. I've had guys in tournaments that have killed their cranking battery and had to jump it to get back to the ramp. So with that being said, I just would not. Okay. Please, if you have the ability, just run it on a separate battery. You're going to have less issues. Oh, William. Yes. William. Thank you. Thank you. 96 on here. You guys need to stay on here because I'm about to hurt some Milwaukee feelings here in just a second. William, I'm sorry. I'm going to do this to you, buddy. But all right. So William's at 18 volts, shows 20 volts for about 15 minutes and then drops to 18 volts for a good amount of time. William, please go look at Garmin's new release. Okay. Please go look at Garmin's new release, guys. Garmin has now released their new voltage regulations for their LiveScopes. It states not to run over 18 volts on your LiveScope or you risk damaging your units. Okay. That is new. That has just been released. I got notification about it today. As I've said before, as an installer, I have to kind of keep up with all that new jazz as it comes out. But you guys don't just believe what I say. You guys do your research, okay? But Garmin released a statement stating that they no longer approve anything over 18 volts on your LiveScope setup, okay? So please, William, before anything bad happens, go check that out. So I had a guy on here, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. A guy asked me about buying a battery, and he said, don't buy the amp battery, just go buy Milwaukee batteries. Well, Milwaukee batteries, if you don't have them for your tools and you just go buy them, they're expensive. They're more expensive than going buy an amp battery. An amp battery is $179 or $189 for a 30 amp hour, which lasts 3 days. Or you go buy a $100 Milwaukee battery, because that's how much they cost, that lasts what, William? What do you get? About 2.5, 3.5 hours on it on per battery, something like that. Maybe 4.5 hours. I'm not sure, but anyway, uh, nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just know that Garmin released that statement saying that it's not good to run over 18 volts. So please, please don't believe me. Go look, go check, call Garmin, talk to them. They're going to tell you that anything over 18 is not recommended. Okay. So just be cautious with that. Be cautious with that. And any of you guys out there that are running those 18, or the guys that are out there running the 20-volt DeWalt's or the 20-volt batteries, please, please go do your research. Go check it out. Go look it up. Call Garmin. Ask them about it. They're not recommending that you run over 18 volts anymore. Big O, Matt, if you want to fish Clark's Hill, let me know. Absolutely. Heck yeah. I mean, I'd love to come down and fish Clark's Hill, no doubt. Another thing on the Milwaukee batteries, I'm going to say it again. That setup is great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that setup. Before Garmin released anything about the voltage, nobody knew nothing. I mean, nobody knew any different. So there was guys that were running. There was one thing about there was guys that were running 24 volts and wondering if 24 is better than 12. Something, I mean, there's videos out there that tell you 24 is clearer than 12 and this, that, and the other. But the new the new recommended voltage is nothing above 18. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna give everybody a couple more minutes. We are going to give away a couple more MCM tackle hair jigs. We're gonna give away a couple half dozens of MCM tackle hair jigs. And I'll tell you what, I think what I'll do is just give away 1 dozen to somebody. Normally we do 2 half dozens, but I think I'm gonna give away the whole dozen because I got a question and I want you guys to answer it. So I know you guys didn't ask me about my secret weapon. It's not really a secret weapon. It's more along the lines of well, it's more along the lines of something I'm working on. Okay. So I'm working on a little something special and I think it's going to be really special. So I can't really show you guys what it is right now. Obviously, it's on this rod somewhere down towards the bottom. Okay. It's something that I personally am working on. It's not. It's not a product that I got from anybody. It's actually a product that I'm working on myself. So I'm really excited about it. No one, and I repeat, no one knows about it yet. I haven't seen it yet, and I've been dying to get out on the lake to see how it works. Okay. So at some point, I'll be able to talk about it, but right now it's hush hush. So that's why I couldn't show you guys the bottom end of this rod because I got secrets, man. Us tournament fishermen, we sometimes have secrets, and that's okay. I'll tell everybody about it one day, but right now it's gonna live and die with me at the moment. So again, I apologize. I normally tell you guys everything. You guys know that. I normally don't have anything that I don't tell you guys, but this one I'm gonna hold on to for just a little while because I really think it's something special, and I really think it's gonna be it's gonna change. It's gonna change crappie fishing. Okay, it's gonna change crappie fishing, in my opinion, if it works. I gotta get out there and see if it works first. But if it does, it's gonna change crappie fishing. So I'm looking forward to getting on that. I'm trying to spend a little bit more time on it. Okay, there's a few more questions here. Let's get these. Mm-mm. Mm, what in the world? All right. I have a Garmin 73 SB with 54 transducer. My lake is 3 to 6 foot. Should I buy LiveScope for crappie? 3 to 6 foot, JD. My guess is you probably, I don't know where you live at, but you've probably got grass. You probably have lily pads, 3 to 6 feet. I would assume you've got vegetation in the lake. If you do, if you have a lot of vegetation in the lake, LiveScope's not going to do you a lot of good. I mean, look, the guys that won down on the St. Johns River or wherever it was, I think it's St. Johns River, that one with cane poles and a 14-foot flat bottom with no electronics, were fishing lily pads. LiveScope's going to do you absolutely no good in a bed of lily pads. It's going to do you no good in grass mats. I mean, you're not going to be able to see anything. So, 3 to 6 foot, that'd be a tough one for me, JD. Rather I would get enough use out of it to justify buying it. Okay, so that's something that you have to justify. If it's wide open, clear water, then yeah, you might be able to see some fish in that. Sure, absolutely, especially in 6 feet. Yeah, you would. But if you got a lot of vegetation and stuff, probably not. Bar Slime, do you ever spider rig? I miss it since LiveScope. I used to spider rig a lot. I quit spider rigging well before LiveScope just because it was, as much as I like to slow down and fish, it was too slow for me. So, when I bought my 690 VS, my Ranger 690 VS, I did not rig it for spider rigging. My bass tracker I had before this, my PT 185, was rigged for spider rigging, and I did spider rig a lot. So, but now I don't know. Also, how LiveScope doing with PVC structure? Great. You can see LiveScope great with it. Or, I mean, you can see PVC great with LiveScope. Said that backwards. Scary Barry. What's up? What advice would you give a long-time bass fisherman wanting to focus more on crappie? Slow down. Slow down. Um, Crappie are, you know, it's a slower. I had to do that, and I used to be a bass fisherman. Everybody knows that. I've said that a million times. So I had to learn to slow down. I had to learn to, now with LiveScope, I'm learning to speed back up, but I had to learn to slow down. And you know, I would probably, when I say slow down, I don't just mean uh, the fishing. I mean, slow your presentation down, slow your reel down, slow, you're not going out there and just burning jigs anymore, or burning crankbaits, or you're not grabbing the wrong rod again. You're not out there just, popping that jig on the bottom of the lake. You're not, it's not a football jig that you're bouncing off the bottom of the lake, smacking the ceiling. It's finesse. So slow everything down, slow your presentation down. There's not a bunch of jerking when you're fishing with a jig. You're not popping, you're not hopping, you're just a slow, steady reel. Um, there's no jerk baits, there's nothing like that. You're not, you don't have to rip their lips off when you set the hook, although I still set the hook like a bass, like I'm bass fishing a lot of times. But if I could give one tip to a bass guy going into crappie, it'd be slow down. Just slow everything down. Enjoy your fishing, enjoy your time on the water, slow down. I keep saying it because it's that important. And locate brush. Spend more time behind this screen than you do behind this reel. Okay. Spend more time sitting behind this screen than behind this reel. And eventually you'll do fine. If you locate structure, you'll locate crappie. Okay. William, Matt, can you give me a call, please, sir? Yeah, William, info at Wired for Crappie. Actually, just hit me up on Facebook, Matt Zenas or Wired for Crappie on Facebook. I know I've got your number somewhere, but shoot me your number on Facebook so that I can holler at you. And if you do it now, I'll try to call you before I go to bed. What transducer mount can I put on? What transducer mount can I put on that will fit under my Ranger tarp? What transducer mount? LiveScope mount for your LiveScope transducer. Fishing specialties. Fishing specialties. I mean, if you want it to fit under your tarp, they've got a magnetic base plate that actually it's got a magnet in it. You lay it on top of the base plate on top of the mounting plate, and you turn a switch and it activates that magnet and it holds it. I mean, it's absolutely innovative. I'm actually going to have some of those to show you guys here in a little bit from Fishing Specialties. They're supposed to send me those in the mail. So when you get those, I just saw a comment. But when you call Fishing Specialties, talk to Mike. Tell him that I sent you. Tell him that you want something that's removable so you can put your tarp back on. And what you'll actually be able to do is just pop that, take the base plate off, lay it in the bottom of the boat, put your tarp on. I mean, it's absolutely great. I'm glad they come out with it because there's a lot of guys that do tarp their boat regularly that don't want it hanging over the side. So those magnetic base plates will work great for you. Steel Horse Trucking. I love jerk baits for crappie. So yeah, jerking was a bad representation of crappie fishing because you can catch crappie on a jerk bait. Yeah, I've done it. I've done it several times, especially in the winter when they school up. You can take a jerk bait through them, but you're still not ripping it. You're not ripping a jerk bait like you're bass fishing. I mean, when you're bass fishing, you're smacking that jerk bait when you're bass fishing. When you're crappie fishing, you're just. I mean, you're not ripping it like you do for bass, but yeah, I've caught crappie on a jerk bait for sure, and crankbaits. So, but I pull those with the boat. I let the boat do the work. I let the boat do the work with the crankbaits now. So. Dave says, I'm seeing hundreds of large crappie under docks, but can't get them to bite jigs or minnows. Been this way for a couple months. Any suggestions to get them to bite, or are they perhaps just night feeders? They're not night feeders. So welcome to winter crappie fishing. All right. So in the winter, those fish school up. Those fish get in those big, tight schools, and they're just lethargic. They're not active. When they school up like that and they get in those big, tight wads, they're just lethargic. They're not active. Their metabolism is down because it's so cold, and you're not going to get them to eat. What you're trying to find in the winter is you're trying to find those fish that are 3, 4, 5 fish together. You're trying to find those smaller schools in open water or on a brush pile that are active. Okay, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I got the hiccups, guys. I'm sorry. If you're not on active fish, leave. Just because there's fish there, the old saying was, don't leave fish to find fish. Wrong. If you're on fish and they're not biting, they're not active, leave. Go find active fish. Period. End of discussion. All right. So if you're on fish and they're not biting, they're not active, go find active fish somewhere else. Because you're going to find that in the winter, Dave. No doubt. John, hey, Matt, I'm loving my LiveScope. Still learning. My very first crappie was 14.5 inches. That's a good one. It's a nice fish. Well worth the money. Thanks. You're very welcome. And that's a good fish. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. We're going to call it a night. Oh, I got to give away the jigs. What am I doing? What am I doing? Guys, y'all can't let me leave and not give y'all free stuff. Come on. Somebody needs to be like, Matt, quit being dumb. Y'all can tell me I'm being dumb. That's okay. I don't mind. All right. A dozen MCM tackle hair jigs. If you do not know what an MCM tackle hair jig looks like, I'm going to show you. First and foremost, MCM tackle right there on Facebook. Okay. Custom made tackle. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram. You are going to contact them on Facebook. Okay. You are going to contact MCM Tackle on Facebook. Tell them you won the dozen jigs. I will let him know I gave away all 1 dozen to one person because I have a question and I want somebody to answer it. The first person that gets it right is going to win a dozen jigs. My phone just pinged. All right, we'll see. I'll hit you up. I see him. All right. So, MCM tackle hair jig. What do they look like? Well, they look like a daggum sexy jig. Look at that right there. Wow, wow, wow. Big old sexy thing. So, we're going to give away a dozen jigs, and one lucky person is going to win those. So, let me think who can't win this. Sorry, guys. There's a couple guys that I know that are going to know the answer to this because I've already told them, and they're not eligible to win tonight. So, you guys are going to be mad at me, but that's okay. Mr. Ashley Coffee, Mr. Josh Sanders, and Mr. Jimmy Pratt. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are out of this one. Y'all have to wait till next week. But everybody else that's watching, and they're gonna hate me for that, but that's all right. I've already told y'all the answer to this one, so I can't be going. It can't be going down like that. All right. So, like I said earlier, I mentioned braided line in cold weather not being good because in sub 32 in freezing weather it freezes instantly when it comes out of the lake. Who can tell me why? What property? Okay. What property of braid causes it to freeze that fast coming out of the lake? Who can tell me? Who can give me the right answer? Who can tell me why braid freezes? Why does braid freeze? Why does braid freeze? Yeah, you guys got it pretty dadgum quick. Pretty dadgum quick. All right, guys, hold up. All right, so this is what I want to talk about a little bit because I've seen a couple different answers. I've got my winner here, so everybody can stop. So let's go through some of these first. This is a teaching moment. I'm gonna use this as a teaching moment, and then I'm gonna give away the jigs. Okay. Um, that's right. Andy said not enough fat in it. Yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna use this as a teaching moment, okay, guys? Because you guys know me. I love to teach. I love to give you guys, I guess, tell you guys what I know, right? So share with you the little bit that I know about what it is we do. All right. So um, everybody knows braid floats, right? Braid floats. If you didn't know that, braid floats. Mono and fluoro sink. Okay. So there's a couple things right here. It absorbs water, right? Um, there was another one somewhere. Rusty says density. Okay. Scary Barry says density. Okay. Bradley says dye. Okay. Water soaks in it. Okay. It absorbs water. Okay. Absorption. Okay. So to answer those questions, braid does not absorb water, guys. Braid does not absorb water. Mono and fluorocarbon. So for those of you that feel a braided line, you go, well, that feels like thread. You would think it absorbs water. It does not. Mono and fluorocarbon, you feel them, they feel like plastic, right? And you'd think, oh, that doesn't absorb water. Wrong. Mono and fluorocarbon absorb water. That's why they sink. Braid does not absorb water. That's why it floats. So braided line, guys, is made out of the material that it's made out of, okay, actually keeps it from absorbing water. Does not absorb water. And when they take the material and they braid that material, creating that braided line, it creates air pockets in the braid, okay? And then before they ship that braid, they put a coating over top of that braid. So that braid actually gets coated with a material. All right. Now, it gets a coating over it. The coating that goes on braided line actually wears off. So who's ever got a colored braid, an orange or a green or a pink or whatever it is, and then after you fish with it for 3 months, it turns white. That's because that coating that's on that braid does come off. It does, over time, it does disintegrate and come off that line. So again, the braided line is woven in such a fashion that it creates air pockets in that line. And then they put the coating over it and it traps that air in the line. So for those of you that fish with braid on LiveScope, you go, wait, I can see my braid on my LiveScope. Well, that's exactly correct. You can see your braid on your LiveScope. Why? Why can you see braid on LiveScope? Because there's air pockets, like Mr. Joel Nichols, who won our MCM Tackle Hair Jigs tonight. Congratulations, Joe. Air pockets in that line that cause it to be seen on LiveScope. You're seeing the air pockets. You're not seeing the line. So for those of you that say, well, you can see braided line on LiveScope. No, you can see the air pockets that are trapped inside that line. Okay. So air pockets, that is why it freezes so fast. That is why braid freezes as quickly as it does. Okay. Because it's the air pockets in that braid. The air cools faster than water. So when you pull that line out of the lake, the air inside that line freezes. The water, that thin sheen of water that's on the outside of the line, okay, freezes quickly because there's air freezing inside it. So it causes a rapid cooling effect and freezes that line instantly when it comes out in sub 32. All right. It really has to be below 30. 32 is not going to get it really, but below 30, you're going to get freezing line on your braid. So air pockets, that's exactly why it freezes in cold temperatures, because there's air inside that line and there's just a thin sheen of water on the outside. Okay. Just a thin sheen that's still hanging there because it does not absorb it. New braid does not absorb. The reason mono and fluorocarbon don't is because that mono and fluorocarbon absorb the water and it creates a solid water mass. It's solid water, so it doesn't freeze as fast. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope I made sense of that. I think it did. But that's it. That's how it works. I'm not a meteorologist, so I can't tell you how all that good stuff, in the atmosphere works. But I can tell you how braided line freezes, and I can tell you why you can see it on your LiveScope. That's all I can tell you. So from there, you're on your own. If you don't believe it, please Google me. Okay? Don't ever take anything I say for gold. If you don't believe it, Google it. You can Google a lot of this stuff. You can find a lot of this stuff out if you read. I don't mind anybody fact checking me. You're more than welcome to fact check Gold Wired anytime you guys want to fact check Gold Wired. I do. I do love to study. I do love to study up on these kinds of things, and I do love the knowledge because it always helps. So look, I'm going to be honest with you. There's times when we fish tournaments together, or me and my partner fish tournaments together. He's a mono guy. He'll never fish with braid. He can't stand it. Okay. I'm fishing braid. He's fishing mono. I'm fishing a 30-second. He's fishing a 30-second. I get bit. He doesn't get bit. And he goes, why? And I'm going, well, yours is sinking faster. No, it's not. It's a 30-second. I'm going, yeah, but my line floats and your line sinks. He goes, oh, yeah. Didn't think about that. Yep. So I've got something that my jig is trying to fall, and this line is holding it. So it's falling very slow, where his 30-second, his line's helping pull it down, and it's falling a little bit faster. Sometimes that makes a difference. Okay. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you guys an idea. Scary Barry said, if it's lower than 32 outside, I'm sitting by the fire. Yep. Yep. I hear you. So anyway, that's exactly how that works. And I hope that helps. Hope that kind of helps you guys. I don't know, it may help you a little bit in your fishing with your jig falling slower, and who knows? I don't know. May help you along the way. few tournament guys out there. But I appreciate y'all for watching. Congratulations again to I forgot your name, Mr. Joe. Congratulations, Joe, on the dozen MCM tackle hair jigs. And I'm going to sign off for tonight because I'm starting to say I don't know a lot. And I'm starting to say a lot. So we're going to let it go. All right. I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, God bless. I'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Watch out for the video coming this week. I believe it's going to be a good one. We'll see. I got asked to do this video a couple weeks ago, and it's coming out this week. So appreciate everybody again. Thank you to the super chats tonight. Thank you again to those that went to the Bonehead booth at the show and said hello to Tommy and mentioned Wired. I appreciate y'all again. Thank you to Heidi for asking about Laura and Branson every week. Thank you to each and every subscriber. Everybody on here watching on Wednesday nights. Thank y'all so much. I couldn't do what I do without you guys. So, and I appreciate it. All right. So, as always, again, God bless. We'll see you guys later.